Occam's razor is a theory, right, where simple is better, right? Make it simple and digestible and learn from my mistakes. When I was earlier in my career, I had a mentor sit down and he was like, why are you spending 90% of your time on this PowerPoint trying to tell people how smart you are? They don't care. He's like, you sound like a jerk. And he said, you just need to tell people about the 10%. He's like, simple is smart.
David, welcome.
Appreciate it. Good morning.
You're the first interview, which means we have
only go
launched to fuck it up.
Yeah.
We can screw it up, basically, big time. So, 5 must-have AI agents. Before we get to the meat of everything, let's learn a little bit about you, professionally, maybe a little personal stuff.
Yeah.
Your past, etc.
Appreciate it. So, how many of you went to school for recruiting? Show of hands.
Anyone?
All right, same. So I went to school. I went to school for hospitality management. So whoever talked me into that, grade A salesperson. So I started my career here in Nashville with Marriott, opened a hotel, did a multi-million-dollar renovation. So I checked off all the milestones in a hotelier's career pretty early on. But through that experience, I was able to learn that I liked the recruiting aspect of it. At the time, I was unhappy in my career. And I had an older friend and a mentor sit me down and said, all of your jobs, pick the things that you liked of each, and then go find your new job. I thought that was pretty profound, and it was pretty simple. And so I ended up in recruiting. So as part of opening a hotel, I was doing a staffing model that was a proof of concept for the folks from Bethesda, Marriott Corporate. We were doing a blended role, and your company said, hey, we used to hire 3 of these people. Let's hire 1 of them and then cross-train them. Anybody have had that in your companies? And that's what we were doing. And so we were able to hire an opening staff of 23 within about 10 cents to budget, which was great. And then I went into agency recruiting, cut my teeth there, and went in-house. So currently, I have a great opportunity to work for News Story Management. We're a leader in alternative and special education, predominantly in the Northeast. So think about autism, think about emotional regulation and behavior challenges. We service those children. And so we have over 80 brick and mortar schools that we own and operate. And then we are also tasked with supporting school districts across the Northeast as well to support the public schools. And so with that, we have the pleasure of hiring a lot of in-demand talent, right? Yep. Special education teachers. You guys have seen teacher enrollment is down. Board certified behavior analyst. Things are down. SLPs. These are folks, guys, that they don't have to go to a job board because the recruiters are in their back pockets, or I could post my resume today and have a job by night. And so my career has just been typically mission-driven, mission-aligned. I've worked at Vanderbilt, the TA there for all 22 schools, worked at a company called Hope Ridge, 125 clinics across the country, 9,000 hires a year. And we've broken records at all the places because of our great team. Some of them are represented here at News Story. So I know I'm bouncing around a little bit, but yeah, that's me. I'm a father of 2, a husband, and I love my boys. And I missed the good luck video today because I don't know about you. Public speaking is like, and that 4-year-old.
You're doing great.
That 4-year-old saying, hey, good luck, Dad, which was awesome. So.
And you're a Florida State grad.
Yeah, I'm a Florida State grad.
How's football season?
Go Noles!
How's football season going?
Listen, much better than last year, right? So similar to today's presentation, right? The next speakers will get better and better. So yeah, FSU, phenomenal. We thought we were on top of the world when we beat Alabama. We're riding high, and then reality, just like life. How many of you always have pride before the fall, right? So we're like, oh yeah, we're kicking Alabama, right? And I live here in Nashville, and so if you don't know that in Southern culture, man, college football is a religion around here, and I'm one. I'm a black sheep of my family. Everyone else is a Tennessee Vol. Anybody Vol fans? Thank you. So I'm a black sheep, but yeah, FSU.
They're not as noisy as the Florida State fans. They're just kind of like, if it were 1998, they'd be real excited.
After that smashing Ohio State gave them last year, they should be quiet.
Yeah, the Peyton Manning jerseys ironed in the closet still from 1998. I'm curious, just general sense for not just recruiting in your world, but recruiting at large from a macro perspective. What's your take?
Yeah, at large, there's a lot of candidate demands. Our candidates are demanding more of us. right? I was talking about this yesterday. AI, I know we're at nauseum right now with the word AI or the acronym. It's all company centric, right? And so if I'm a candidate, I'm like, what else are you going to do to help me, right? So all this time savings, where are you going to redeploy that time? Are you going to be able to give me actual candidate or solid feedback, right? If we're using AI to assess candidates, we should also, so for all the vendors and partners out there, find and build me a tool, and the larger practitioners here, that can deliver personalized feedback at scale, right? So if we can interview at scale, we can use AI for interviewing, why can't we give candidates feedback? And so that to me is going to be what gets us to the next level. Right now, there's a lot of apprehension to doing AI interview. Like if anybody go on recruiting hell on Reddit?
If you haven't, you should.
You should definitely.
Yes. Also, the Indeed one on Reddit. Yeah. See, that one's fun.
Like
recruiting hell on
First
Reddit.
of all,
Okay.
go on recruiting hell and make sure you research your own company. Number one, you can go to the search bar and search your company. But two, you can see like the real raw candidate dialogue and perceptions, right? So we need to be able to give our candidates something if we're asking them to do AI interviews, right? Because that's the big thing of this year is AI screening, AI interview, top of funnel, like make the jobs easier for the recruiters, right? But what are we going to give candidates in return?
Yeah.
Yep. Well, it's good that you have human beings. We'll get to that.
He
But this
has
All right,
slides,
is he scrolling
I
through?
think he has these slides.
Yeah, we'll
right.
get to
Hit the green one. See
Boom.
Let's get to our first. Let's get to our first. You mentioned these are people who aren't on job boards.
Yeah.
Let's cover job postings first. How is that changing?
Yeah, so
Okay, yeah.
job postings are getting much smaller, right? Our attention spans.
Fewer, or what do you mean?
Condensed.
Smaller. Okay, so
Right,
the
so
actual content on the
Content.
job. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank God,
Yeah.
because they suck as it is, right?
Well, when,
Do we need the 5-line
What
ads?
are you guys doing
again? Do we
writing
need
this
the-
book? I mean, this is
we're going,
freaking
We're
crazy.
going back to
Nobody has
newspaper ads. We'll
Oh,
go
okay.
back to 5-line.
yeah. Well, look, guys, look,
Column inches.
for the majority of our roles, and I want to shout out Susanna, our recruitment marketing manager, it's not just me. Yeah, raise your hand, right? Like,
Very humble.
She's helped me because I was like, Susanna, I don't think we should do that. And she's like, trust me, David. And I was like, okay. And so at the end of the day, a special education teacher knows what a special education teacher does. And a BCBA has a master's degree. They've been supervised for 2,000 hours. I think by the time they apply for a job, they know what they're doing, right? And so when I first got to News Story, it was in a disarray, just candidly speaking. And so we were brought in to clean up. And one of those, we were using job descriptions. It's okay to laugh, okay? We were using the archaic legalese, HR boring, put you to sleep by the time you were finished.
Yeah.
And then we went into job posting. So we used Jovio's optimizer to start, and it started to help us with our CTA, and we started getting better results. And so we condensed our postings to make sure we had the right content, and we were writing it for our candidates and not for ourselves. Because too often, depending on most organizations you work at, like we do these projects, and I'm gonna steal a Jeff Bezos thing, right? Like we forget the empty chair, right? He always had an empty chair, which was a physical prompt, use an ABA term, applied behavior analysis. It was a visual prompt to tell us that's who our customer is, and we need to do that with our candidates, right? So
you mentioned boring. Jovio helped you condense it. Did you put a little sauce on the job posting, and how did that work?
So we did an opener, which is great. So we have a 2-line opener. Thank you, Susanna, because I tend to ramble if you haven't figured that out by now.
Just so you know, Susanna's, you can't see her face, but she's got this I told
She
you
wants
so
to die,
look.
and she
on her
wants to
face.
die a little bit.
Very,
Yeah.
I told you so.
So
that's good. I like that.
We have these two, just a quick opener, nice little hook, and then we put the qualifications right up to the top. And that's where I was like, hold up. This is contrarian. Like, why? Like, and we went back and forth, and so we put qualifications up, and then we did work with an external consultant named Jason Pistolka. He's around here somewhere. We got rid of preferred requirements. Because what is preferred?
Yeah.
It might as well be required, because that's what our hiring leaders are gonna hold us accountable to.
Yeah.
And so we condensed our requirements. We got rid of over complication. Like, we started questioning, and Lindsay helped me out with this one on my team. Like, why are we requiring a bachelor's for this job? Like, why? It's not 1990. It's not 2000. Like, yeah, tell me how a bachelor's makes this person makes it for this role. And so we started to really challenge the status quo, because how many times have you guys come into new companies and they're like, oh, we've just always done that. No one's really asked why. My company, I always ask why about everything. And so we just started to disrupt. So we want to make sure that we have the right content. We didn't even have zip codes on there, which is how all the job boards started indexing. And so it was just a nice reset and refresh for us.
And plenty of stock photos, I'm sure.
A lot of stock
the job posting. Yeah. We're using any interactive stuff, video, imagery, culture stuff?
So with our new ATS, we will, 10/17 we go live with phase 1, and phase 2 is 11/27. So if I look like I'm tired, it is because I am. But we will go live in Ashby by the end of next month across our entire footprint.
Nice.
And then we will use our day in the life videos to have on the job postings, right, to make them more visually stimulating. You talk about overall state of recruiting. We're all visual people now. We don't read, we don't have a lot of time to read. We're used to micro learnings, we're used to micro bits. And so how do we meet the candidates where they are? And
you were doing TikToks earlier, I think, out in the field there. So everyone is.
So are you using like a standard platform for your videos to be able to like house all the videos, manage the videos, make it easier for your employees to give you more videos? Yeah,
so that's the long-term goal, right? So we want to drive employee-generated content, or EGC, right? Because our candidates, and again, going back to your first question of like, what is going on in the world of recruiting? What I'm stoked for, do you guys remember when everything had to be perfect online? Thank you for anybody else. We just have one person.
Define
Come on.
Perfect.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Right? Everything had to be curated. Oh my gosh, you have a typo. Isn't it crazy with the invention of AI, a typo is now a good indicator that a human actually did it? So if you're like me, I can't send a single text without a typo. My team will tell you that. My wife will. And look, now I'm getting credit for it for being real.
So with improved job postings, what has that meant to your job postings? Have you eliminated job boards? You mentioned Jovio. Like, what does that strategy look like now? Yeah, so we started going through programmatic. So we were actually paying a third-party recruitment marketing firm to do both programmatic and PPC. And it was costing an arm and a leg. And how many of you have an unlimited budget? One person.
Unlimited. One person.
She'll be on stage after.
Limited budget.
Yeah, she'll be on.
And so our dollars we have to fight for, right? We in recruiting are seen from the finance folks as a cost center. Now, all of you are incredibly intelligent, and I'm sure you're doing a wonderful job of translating hires into revenue, and you can cost a vacancy and all that, where you can start to prove that you are a profit center, but that takes time. And so
say that again, because I don't know that everybody's focusing on that aspect.
Yeah.
Because we've been seen as a cost center for far too damn long. Company doesn't run without us. We are the profit center.
Yeah.
If you don't have somebody there to create the product, to sell the product, to service the product, to be able to drive revenue, to be able to retain revenue, to be able to open wallet share, how in the hell are you gonna have a business? You know, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I had to have my rant, my bad.
Yeah, so that's been my bread and butter, right? So you talked about my career. I've been able to translate like recruiting math. Like we're all really good at conversion, and we're good at like recruiting math and insert metrics here. There's like 10, 20, 30 of them now, right? But how do you translate that to talk to a CEO and a finance, a CFO, right?
Amen.
So in my roles, there was a period of time in my career I didn't even have a boss for about 6 months, which was cool. But I've reported to the CEO, the CFO, the chief marketing officer. I've had every boss under the sun, and it's been a great experience looking back. Now, during the time, I was like, cool, like, all right, you only care about numbers, or marketing guys, all metrics, right? But it was a great experience. So challenge your companies, y'all. When they're like, hey, this role is so important, and you're like, I don't want to spend more money on advertising. Well, I'll let you in on an industry fact. For a board-certified behavior analyst that works in an autism therapy clinic, okay, they can bill about $1 million to $1.2 million a year in insurance revenue. So do you think spending 10 grand to get a quality hire, doing something out of the box, like sending them like Silicon Valley swag bags and like just doing stuff out of the ordinary, I think I would spend 10K to make 1.2, right? So that's how we've been able to buy these fun tools, but we have to paint that story and we have to be able to articulate the why into their terms. My CFO does not care about recruiting metrics.
No. And they never have.
Like,
and they never have.
My CEO doesn't care. And that's
and they
okay.
never have.
So it's my job to manage up and translate it from recruiting math to finance math. And that's been really helpful.
Yeah. So on the agent side of the house, so if you got one, obviously that is, how does that actually work? You have a job description, feeds into the system, it automatically goes through what process when we're talking about job advertising, and then into the career site? Yeah,
so this is how you know this is not a sales pitch. I took Jovio's methodology and then I rebuilt it myself in ChatGPT. And so I built an agent by myself. And so what we did is we also own and operate 16 companies. So your volume likely exceeds ours, right? Like our HCA, the head leader there, she was yesterday speaking, I think she did 467,000 hires in 5 years. Like, incredible, right? And that's a challenge in and of itself. But where we struggle with is we have 16 unique companies and they rightfully so want to tell their brand story because they have 20 years, some cases, 25 years of brand identity. And if we just roll them up into our management company, we lose all of that social capital and reputation. So what we did is we built a custom GPT, sent an agent out, and it scraped all 16 websites. I loaded it into AI. I used Jovio's optimizer. I built the thing myself. And so this is not against Jovio, but Jovio isn't our business, right? So we were able to rewrite our postings in our brand voice for 16 different companies. Because guess what? Anybody surprised that I'm not allowed to have 16 recruitment marketing leaders? Right? No, we don't get that. It's not a one-for-one cardinality. It's a do more with less. And so AI has been helpful. So we started with Jovio. Jovio was like the tip of the spear where we're like, hey, we need to do some work here. So we use that as level one, and then we continue to refine. And with Ashby, I'm so thankful for this. We will have a job posting library that has templates and it's one-to-one cardinality. And so that means I don't have recruiters. Any companies out there, please tell me. We're copying and pasting from old recs. Anybody got like rogue Word documents that you're copying and pasting? Thank you for your honesty. I won't call you out. Like, my goodness, we can't wait to get into that.
Copying and pasting off of Google searches.
It's wild.
Yeah.
What else about career sites? And you mentioned doing more with less, which I think is a nice segue into chatbots and how you utilize those to do more with less.
Whoa, that was not me, y'all. So anyway, we are going in process with Jovio to get conversational bots. I think it's not a chat bot. So anybody who's been an early adopter, I remember a few years ago where you had to like wireframe it on the back end in Excel. Like if candidate says A, reply with B.
Decision tree, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like that's a much better, sorry, not articulate. A decision tree.
I do this for a living, it's okay.
And so we do that, right? And so now we're gonna have a conversational chat bot and a conversational bot to capture those candidates before they drop off, right? Because we wanna educate. And what we're really stoked about is how many of you have had candidates apply for one job, get rejected from one recruiting team, and they're a perfect fit over here, and you're like, guys, why did we not share that candidate? We could have filled this role like 30 days ago. And we're having that issue. Like we have folks apply for a teacher support role, and they're actually qualified to be a teacher. So they can actually take a higher level role, higher paying role that impacts them positively in their families to make more money and do that. And so because of the way we're structured, I have three recruiting verticals, support, license, and our in-district services team. They're not always communicating because guess what? Recruiters, they're busy. They're getting tasked with their KPIs. I can't hold them accountable for, hey, did you make sure you scratch someone else's back by pushing that candidate forward? No, because I'm gonna make sure that they're hitting their own KPIs. And so the conversational chat, the career site will be able to educate our candidates to say, hey, you applied for this, but we think you're better over here.
Yeah.
And guess what? Our candidates are gonna be happier because they take they take it so personal. And look, some of y'all, your company's got to get better. And one of them was mine. We were posting jobs and I'm like, who the heck knows what this title is outside of these four walls? Like that is an act of, like, that is some mental gymnastics, right? Like that is not what it worked. Like for us, it was an academic and behavior support specialist. Like I can't even count how many characters that is. And at the end of the day, it's a special education paraprofessional, right? One of those is going to perform much better and relate to a broader audience, and the other one isn't going to perform well at all. And so, good segue. Jovio helps us with A/B testing, y'all. We had recruiters and hiring leaders asking us to post 3, 4, 5 different jobs because they read an article one time and they knew that job title performed better. Literally, right? And now we don't have to do that. Like we use Jovio's AI agent. I looked at it this morning because I typically over prepare when I get nervous. And in case you didn't know, I was nervous. And we have done 3 million jobs since April 1st.
Wow. So when it goes through, take me through this real quick.
Yeah.
So I'm into the chatbots. Your system does some type of matching in the background to be able to say, hey, look, oh yeah, no, you're applying for this job, but you're qualified for this job over here.
Correct.
And or if you're a silver medalist, didn't get the job, you can get kicked over into another job.
Yeah, so that's the end goal. So our linchpin right now is getting into Ashby.
Gotcha.
My team is probably rolling their eyes. I bet they can quote me. It will get better when we're in Ashby. I won't name who we are currently with, but I'm telling you we're operating in about 2,000.
Heads are nodding, yes.
But we're going to level up pretty soon. And so it uses keywords. It also uses generative AI, so it gets smarter over time.
Yep.
So it's not going to be perfect.
Right.
Don't hear me out. It's not going to be perfect, but it'll be a much better experience.
Question. So obviously humans have never been perfect.
Really?
Speak for yourself.
Yeah, except for Cheeseman. He's perfect at eating a cheeseburger. But when it comes down to AI, we expect perfection right out of the gate, knowing that, AI is like a puppy. It's going to piss on the carpet. You got to train it to be able to get to where we need it to be, right? So,
yeah.
When you're going through this process, are you setting expectations not just for the team, but also for the leadership team that, hey, look, we're getting into this new age.
Absolutely.
Okay, so talk a little bit about that, because this is change management, which is a bitch.
Yes. So I work in 16 different schools. I know y'all are not surprised that each of them thinks they're more important than the other one. I know y'all aren't surprised where each one of them wants to do their own thing, right? And that's their right. They've built these companies, and so that's not a dig. That's just reality. And guess what? We service them. So it's our goal to meet their needs. A reminder, you all in shared services, like you don't exist if your company doesn't exist. So we're here to support the company. Okay, I think sometimes we forget that. We get a little cocky, a little confident. Well, if they don't have me, we're not going to be anything because we do all the hiring. At the end of the day, like guys, we're here to support the business, right? Servant leadership. So there's a lot of change management. And I learned in my career, I had an opportunity where I came in, I was hired through an acquisition. They had already selected an ATS, and my C-suite executive already went through the entire business and told everyone it's going to solve everything. And I had to go back through behind all that. So with this ATS implementation, we have been framing it of, it will solve a lot of our problems, but it won't solve all of them, right? And also, if we don't change behaviors, right, we're just going to have a very expensive, nice ATS and the same problems, okay? And so I've had to challenge them, because how often do we confuse behaviors with tool efficacy? Well, I don't like this tool. This isn't working. This sucks. Why'd you do this? And it's like, well, if you used it like the SLA and like how we trained you on it, it probably would work really well, right? So change management is tough because it's not just like the technology, the vernacular, the nomenclature, the systems. Your behaviors have to change with that technology.
Yeah.
And so that's been a really big primer, because it's also intimidating, y'all. My first and last name is literally almost a signature for this system. like it's a pretty nerve-wracking position to be in when you're like all the hiring and how smart you are and how you designed it it's you. And that's a lot of pressure, right? And so I've been nervous and I have framed it to say, guys, I've done the best that I can. I've done pilots. I got an ATS advisory council from different functions, right? Which has been super helpful. They're like the guardrails, right? Because some of us recruiters, we can be renegades, right? We're like, we're gonna push that. That's why I can't work in HR. I stay in the gray, y'all. So we have some of the stuff in place, but man, change management's tough. And I think with AI, people think perfection or they think a new tool is gonna solve all the problems, and that's just not it.
Yeah. Solving problems. A growing problem with a lot of employers is the tsunami of fake applicants.
Yeah.
Between conversational AI, your interviewing technology, let's segue into that. How are you guys combating the flood of fake applicants?
It is a battle, and I feel for a lot of the folks here in tech, we're a little bit insulated because of our sector. It hasn't hit our sector yet. Typically, education lags private sector by quite a few years. But for those of you who are tasked with hiring like software engineers and just technical talent, that's tough. Ashby just rolled out a feature that has fraud detection. And so they're looking at a myriad of things. I don't know enough to speak on it, just candidly. But if that's something of interest, they do have a token system where you can vet their resume. We've also rolled out BrightHire, which has been super helpful for us because it's all recorded. And it uses AI notes, and so we can really start digging in deeper and making sure and equipping our recruiters to ask higher level questions. Because again, where we were before, anybody have recruiters that were like the 4 basic recruiter phone screen? And I need your honesty, it's not a reflection of you. Can you fog a mirror? How much do you want to make, or why did you apply? How much do you want to make and how quickly can you start, right? That's a pretty basic phone screen. And so with BrightHire, we've been able to educate our recruiters to sound like clinicians and sound like educators and not like every other recruiter under the sun. And so BrightHire's equipped us to go deeper, to dig deeper.
So it sounds like you're confident that we'll find a solution. How many of you are dealing with fake applicants as an issue? Pretty good number of people, and that's only going to get worse, I would suspect. Yeah. It's good to know that we're looking at solutions there. So let's talk about tracking this stuff, analytics. Is that your seat at the table? You taking numbers to the C-suite? Talk about that.
Yeah. Again, my team, love them to death. They'll tell you, they're like, dude, like you can't just come talk to my team and just like pull up and start spitting out numbers. Like Lindsay called me out at dinner last night. She's like, dude, like you came in hot last Wednesday. You're like looking at the numbers, blowing me up at 8 o'clock in the morning. She's like, I already know what kind of day it is. They have a group chat, y'all, without me, and they're like, looks like David's on one.
That's great.
So
it's great that you know about it too.
Yeah. They should do that. They should challenge me, guys. Like, I want them to push me out of my job, right? So my seat at the table is analytics, right? We've been operating in a black box historically with our current ATS that will go away. In my previous life, I was able to predict within like 10 to 15 cents how much my applications would cost in about 6 months. I could tell the C-suite, hey, if you're gonna scale, you're gonna need, based on your funnel math, this is how much it's gonna cost you, right? So I started understanding and being able to tell it. And guess what the beautiful thing is with numbers? It's no longer just my opinion, right? And so when they don't like the numbers, okay, that's reality, right? So it removes the emotion from it. And so we look at analytics, we look at how our CPA is doing, how our CPH is doing. What we're really stoked for is we used to do CPA first it was CPC, right? Then it was CPA, then it went to CPH, right? We're going deeper in the funnel where we're starting to say and holding Jovio accountable, and they can tell you, I'm a fun client. I'll put it in those terms. But we hold them accountable for phone screen onward. Like, we don't care how many apps you got, how many of them were qualified, and we measure qualified as phone screen. So I don't care that you promised me and you got me a bunch of junk resumes. That's not what I'm paying for. I'm paying for quality applications, which means a recruiter decided to pick up the phone and call. We are eventually going to get smarter and help Jovio with our new ATS, because we're going to have our hiring managers filling out quality of surveys at day 30, And so we'll then backtrack up the funnel and say, oh, I'm okay to pay 2x, 3x on source A because candidates that come from source A stay 50% longer, which obviously is less. There's no background check. There's it's more revenue. So you start to get smarter around where you're getting your people from.
Do you also start to challenge the hiring managers because hiring manager A has turnover X, hiring manager Y has turnover, or 2 has turnover Y, right?
Yo, I'm about to nerd out and I apologize in advance. Okay.
Bring it.
We are going to get to, and I owe it to Jason Pistolka, we are going to give our hiring managers baseball scorecards with batting averages, right? So what we're going to do is say, hey, when you interviewed, you said all 10 of your candidates, everything's great. And then day 30, you rank everybody terrible, right? So that's a discrepancy.
That's on you.
So that's a discrepancy, right? Or someone's a super hard interviewer, but they love their candidates at day 30, they should be an interview trainer, right? So we are going, because how many times you guys are practitioners are creating a world-class experience from talent attraction and awareness all the way to offer accepted. And maybe some of you even have onboarding, right? That's a pretty common pairing, right? And then you get blamed for everything else. And you're like, you still interviewed them, but they're like, oh, application quality is terrible. That candidate, I don't know why recruiting put him in front of him. I interviewed him twice and gave him an offer, but that's your fault, right?
Yeah.
So it's not about blaming. It's not an us versus them. It's about context and it's about education. So this isn't a gotcha for our hiring leaders. This isn't a gotcha for the recruiters. It's about creating a scalable recruiting engine. We can't have a world-class experience from talent attraction to offer, accept, or even first day, and then, or recruiter screen, phone interview, and then they get to the on-site and it's like, or the hiring manager, and you're like, wow, recruiting can't fill that role. And it's like, no, we can. We had 10 candidates drop out at your hiring manager interview. It's probably you, right? So we'll have data, because if I don't have data, y'all, it's just my opinion, and then opinions become subjective, and then they get riled up with emotions, and then some people can't handle constructive feedback, right? And it can be politically charged depending on the department. Mm-hmm. So we're going to bring data to help educate and make sure that we're having a fluid process.
So sticking with data and seat at the table, and at risk of all the vendors bum rushing you at the end of this, how has the numbers impacted maybe getting more budget or fighting for more dollars?
For the vendors, please, I have ignored some of y'all, the 16 LinkedIn messages. Yes, I live in Nashville. So if you're asking if I'm in Nashville, yes, I am in Nashville for RecFest. I'm just kidding. You guys are doing a great job for what you do. But I do get a lot of sales solicitations. But anyway, I have an incredibly supportive executive leadership team. My CHRO is she understands it. She is not penny wise, pound foolish, right? She understands sometimes we need to make the hard decision and spend more to get what we need. She understands, and I've worked for the opposite, right? Where it was tooth and nail, a 6-month process, business case ad nauseum. So my CHRO is great. My CFO, my CEO are great. By the way, my CEO is an ex-CFO. So we have the joy of 2 CFOs in our C-suite. And then our board has been incredibly supportive.
Yeah.
So we paint a business case, y'all. It's 1 or 2 pages, right? Simple, right? Occam's razor is a theory, right? Where simple is better, right? Make it simple and digestible and learn from my mistakes. When I was earlier in my career, I had a mentor sit down and he was like, why are you spending 90% of your time on this PowerPoint trying to tell people how smart you are? They don't care. He's like, you sound like a jerk. He used different language. And he said, you just need to tell people about the 10%. He's like, simple is smart. And he was a VP of IT and now a CIO, and he was really impactful. So we just put together a simple 2-pager, this is X, how much it costs, here's Y, where's the cost savings, here's the impact. And get granular, y'all. If you don't, I'm gonna show y'all, just bring you down. My C-suite thought I was crazy. I did a time audit of my recruiters on each of their tasks, and then I multiplied that across an entire year. And I said, so you think clicking a button to download a resume to view it in a second tab isn't a big deal? But when you do it 200,000 times a year, this is how much it costs you in labor. And they were like, okay, we don't want to see like the productivity math. Like, let's just look at hard cost. But I was like, bam, I got it.
So what does the perfect system look like for you and the team? And is anybody on the team kind of afraid that agents are going to take their jobs? Because that's what we're hearing. AI is coming for your jobs. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah.
Because you've talked a lot of your team, so it's obviously a tight team. But talk a little bit about that.
Look. Well, first, I couldn't be up here without them, right? Like I got my team that's not here. We've got a team that is here. I'm only one person. I can put in a lot of hours, but I got 2 kids at home. I'm a dad. Like, I don't want to work 24/7. And so I have a team that I can count on. But as far as a perfect system, it's reducing the administrative minutia. So I know this talking theme is probably not new for you all, but I've shared this with my team and our recruiters, and I can be a very direct individual if you haven't picked up on that by now. And I sat them down and I said, guys, if you're worried about Ashby and Jovio and BrightHire and Juicebox, like doing all these things, like this isn't the job for you. And that's okay, right? I think sometimes we forget that my mom always told me this when I was struggling with friends coming out of college and moving to Nashville. And she said, David, it's okay. Like you're going to have some friends that you're blessed with that can come stick with you through season, through season, through season. And then you're also going to have friends that are just sticking with you through one season. And that's okay. Recruiters sometimes don't evolve at the pace that we need them at organizations. Because of the last probably 10 years, every company's got recruiters. It wasn't always that way back in the day.
Yeah.
Like only the big companies, like you guys were like, it was like phone book, it was sourcing, it was like true Boolean, like X-ray searches. And then like, because the labor market tightened up, everybody needed recruiters. And now we have this like talent pool of recruiters that's absolutely incredibly hard to evaluate and hire because you got recruiters on all types of the spectrum, right? How many of you got recruiters that you're like, all they want is inbound and they want to work 8 to 5 and they just want to process applications? Anybody?
Quite a few.
Thank you I appreciate your vulnerability, right? And that's okay. There's companies that are okay with that. I'm not, and we're not. Doesn't mean they're bad. All right, let's attack the problem, not the person, right? Yeah. So as we think through that, perfect system is reducing the administrative minutia. Mm-hmm. Like automate, like, hey, phone screen, boom. In Ashby, I click one button, and it sends a phone screen link. Once they sign their offer letter, automatically sends their background check. Everything's time-stamped. So if you're a recruiter on my team, and I've shared this, guys, if you're worried about the visibility, I would encourage you to look for a new job, right? I'll help you write your resume, right? I'm literally just like one step short of the Zappos guy that pays them $4,000 to leave. And that's nothing against the folks who they're not ready for it. But I want recruiters who are going to go out and source and add value. And so if you can't bring and showcase how you're adding value, and a reminder, recruiting is the act of influencing a person's employment decision. I think sometimes recruiters forget that, right? You're not ready for my.
All right, David, we're going to see if you're ready to give us some value. Can you go to the last slide?
Thank you. I think I can. Oh.
Okay.
Got it.
All right. If you guys want more information, you want some numbers, data, get out your smartphones, flip phones, whatever. And your sidekicks, take a screenshot and get some more information. Let's hear it for David.
Q&A.
I know. We'll get to Q&A. Thank you, David. Do you have time for some questions? Some questions.
Sexy,
no hard questions.
Sexy Scott's been over here. The man in the kilt.
Hands? No, we shouldn't.
He'll hook you up. Hands? Anyone? Questions?
Bueller?
Questions? We've been asking. We've been doing all the work here. Come on, guys.
Agents, conversational AI, career site. Oh, there we go.
Mistakes I've made.
Just be robust and all. Oh, we have a mic. Good job, Stephen.
So question, regarding the last piece where you mentioned that when you are approaching to your team, especially with like empowering with AI tools and they are probably reluctant to it, how do you feel about explaining first like the benefits and like when do you say, gosh, this is not lost cause, you might be better in a other team or company where like we cannot train you for this. How do you tackle that?
Yeah, great question. So I always start with why. And so my team's now rolling their eyes because they know that I say, explain the why, like tell people the why. So I tell them, I'm very transparent. I do start with the benefits for them, right? Sales 101. Hey guys, BrightHire, recording your interview notes. Cool, right? Because they first thought like, hey, this is a gotcha. And I told them, I said, guys, I don't have enough time to watch all your interviews. I said, surprise, I do have a life outside of this job. I'm not gonna be sitting at home at 8 o'clock at night watching football and your interviews, right? So I give them, I explain the why, and I'm very transparent. I share with my team all the metrics that I can see. Because my opinion is if you're gonna hold someone accountable for what you're holding them to, they should be just as smart, and then they can start to self-lead and self-manage, right? It's called lowering the decision threshold, right? I don't need to be there for my team to run, like not in current ideal state. So I explain the why, then we go live, I share in that why, I say what's important for them, and then I say, why is the business doing it, right? So there's two audiences. This is what is benefit for you, and then this is the business reason, right? Because you gotta be transparent. And then we go live, and then we monitor, and I do like a 30 to 45, 60 day, like 30 to 60 day period. And oftentimes that fear is because change. It's not the actual tool itself. I don't like change, okay? I'm very routine driven, like staying in a hotel throws me off, okay? So I now have people who come to me and say, oh, thank you for doing this. Like, I get it now, this is great. Some of those people were doubters in the beginning. So you do have to just stay to your mission and your conviction to know that this is the best decision. Most of the time people pull through, and for those that don't, it's okay.
Maybe one more? Yep.
Hi, David.
Good morning.
You talked about the value of outbound sourcing. Can you help me understand how you're doing that today?
Yes. So last year we weren't doing it at all. But this year we're using Indeed smart sourcing. So Indeed at $4 a credit, my goodness gracious. But we also use LinkedIn, but not LinkedIn Recruiter. So we actually found better success with adding, waiting 2 days, and then connecting. And then we're also using Juicebox, who's got a table up here where we were early adopters of Juicebox. And so it's an automated outreach. So you can create projects and it starts putting your candidates on sequences and drips. And then we also are fortunate that we have a few licensure registries. So for board certified behavior analyst, it's just recorded, but if you look there, you get first and last names and where they live and how long they've been certified. And so there's your nugget. Now go find the information. And so it is multi-channel. We use a lot of resume databases. And with Ashby, what we're going to do is start building our own CRM. And so we look internally. My goal is to adopt the Robert Half model, which is build a killer database and then just go inward versus always going to the expensive market.
One more time for David.
There it is.
Thank you, David.
Thank you.
There it is. Thanks so much,
Appreciate it, guys.
David.
Go to your next thing or just get comfortable here for our next presentation.
You can
Good
get
luck, guys.
comfortable
Thanks,
here.
man. Yeah, man.
Thank you for listening to, what's it called? A podcast. The chat. The cheese. Brilliant. They talk about recruiting. They talk about technology. But most of all, they talk about nothing. Just a lot of shout-outs of people you don't even know. And yet you're listening. It's incredible. And not one word about cheese. Not one. Cheddar. Blue. Nacho. Pepper jack. Swiss. So many cheeses and not one word. So weird. Anywho, be sure to subscribe today on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. That way you won't miss an episode. And while you're at it, visit www.chatcheese.com. Just don't expect to find any recipes for grilled cheese. It's so weird. We out!